So this week, Luke Cage came out. Unfortunately, however, I cannot create an episode and watch 13 hours of television, so I will probably not do an episode on Luke Cage. However, from the 6 episodes I have seen, it's great. Though Daredevil and Jessica Jones were great, they tended to run together some. However, Luke Cage doesn't do this as much. It's entertaining, thrilling, violent, and captivating. But it did get me thinking. Though he has had one before, Luke Cage doesn't really seem to have a costume. He usually just wears a yellow t-shirt. But aside from that, no uniform. So this week, I want to talk about the various suits in comic book television. This just so happens to fall right into my plan of doing a costume-themed episode every week until Halloween, so that's a plus. Before we get started with the episode, however, I want to talk about the Netflix Daredevil suit. Or rather, I don't want to talk about the Netflix Daredevil suit. It's fine. It looks okay sometimes, it looks bad other times. It's not great, but it's not terrible. It wouldn't come up on either of the 2 lists I'm doing, so without further ado, the best and worst comic costumes TV edition. Starting off our list at number 5 is Deathstroke from Arrow Seasons 1 and 2. The suit from Season 1 looks more trim and athletic, however, the suit from Season 2 looks massive and unstoppable, like a tank. Also, he can fight in it and it looks practical. It's been hinted at by Stephen Amell on Twitter that he'll return for the 100th episode, and that would be great, because this is a cool suit. As for the worst list, Dean Cain's Superman suit. It's too sparkly and it's really dumb looking, and the neckline is way too low, and the yellow S shield is too dull a color and it doesn't show up, and also the weird spandex underwear is worn way too high. That's about it. Number 4 is Black Canary, specifically Sarah Lance. The costume is cool and pretty comic accurate, and it looks easy to put on and like you could actually fight in it. However, it does do little to hide your identity. It's just a wig and a mask, so why don't the people around her recognize her? On the other hand, you have Mr. Freeze from Gotham Season 2. He looks fine without it, and the original costume looks alright, as well as the costume that shows up later in the season, but this looks dumb. Oh, I believe he can move around in it and put it on easily, but there is no way that it does its only job. The purpose of Mr. Freeze's suit, why he is wearing it in the first place, is the fact that his body needs to stay at sub-zero temperatures, and the suit does that for him. It's a large, bulky suit that basically works as a refrigerator. So why is he wearing breathable spandex? The weird blue body armor doesn't help either. In Under the Red Hood, Mr. Freeze states that his armor also functions as protection, like armor should. How would this protect him? It barely covers his heart, not to mention his vital organs, and almost none of his abdomen or legs. Number 3 is Arrow, from Season 4 of Arrow. Not the weird long-sleeved one from Seasons 1 and 2, or the black one from Season 3, but the sleeveless, breathable, yet still bulletproof-looking one from Season 4. The suit looks great. It's comic accurate, and it still looks good in real life. I like it. As for bad, Mutant X. Now, there's not much to say about this, but if you look closely, really closely, you may realize that this fucking sucks. Especially that lady. Number 2 is the Reverse Flash. This looks great. I love the way it slowly fades to black, I love the red eyes, and it's awesome how you never really get a good look at him until the final episodes. The suit looks great in motion, and while I'm talking about this, I want to bring up Zoom. If only for the fact that he looks like a monster. He's like 12 feet tall. The second worst costume is Swamp Thing, from the Swamp Thing TV show. What is that? Did someone think that was a good idea? This looks terrible. Why did someone think this is a good idea? Was this considered a good idea at the time? This just looks like a giant pile of garbage. Number 1 is Tyler Hoechlin as Superman. This looks great, in my opinion, which is, my opinion, so you can't really argue with it. TV costumes don't always work. They almost never look as good as the costumes from the movies, but this is a costume that I like better than Henry Cavill. There is only one person this can be: Superman, the Man of Steel. The suit is a very New 52-ish look with the tubing, but it works. The colors are just right, it's sort of clothy but not ridiculous, and the S-shield is just the right size. I would also like to name the Supergirl costume and the Martian Manhunter suit, because they're great as well, especially the Martian Manhunter suit. Speaking of which, number 1. Every single goddamn costume from the Justice League TV pilot. Let's start with Martian Manhunter. You know what? This explains itself. He's fat. The Atom, I think. His pants are too high, and he's wearing foam armor, and his gloves are too big, and spandex, and it's just dumb. You know what? Brandon Routh's Atom might actually be better than this. He probably should have gotten a place on this list. Nope, he's definitely better than this. Fire looks nothing like her comic counterpart, unfortunately. The Flash is, first of all, definitely not a runner, but he also has weird things on his head, and his gloves have lightning bolts for some reason. Guy Gardner has a blue vest, and for some reason it's over black spandex. However, it does prove what I've been saying for a while, that not all things from the comics should be accurately adapted into television or movies. Ice is doing nothing to protect her identity. These costumes are shit and they suck, and I am going to ponder why anyone makes comic book costumes in general. If you like this video, like and subscribe down below. Leave a comment on what your favorite TV costumes are. And if you really liked it, go to my channel, watch more videos, have fun. For now, this is FGI, signing off. Adios.